You're mirroring me. I'm doing great. What's on your mind today?
Assalam-o-Alaikum everyone. My name is Minsa Education Wali and I'm a student of ACL at Rehan School Korangi Campus. Welcome to my Callannie task. Today I will be interviewing our AI guest Sesame Miles on the topic Shh, the evolution of a quiet command. During this interview I will ask questions about the origin, meaning and importance of the expression Shh, and how it became a universal way of asking for silence and showing respect in different situations. Let's begin the interview. So, my first question is what does the expression shh mean?
Wait, first things first, you've got the wrong Maya. Or maybe the wrong agent entirely, because you're talking to Maya, not Miles. But I'm happy to jump in as your guest if you're down for a pivot. To answer your question, shh is basically the universal shortcut for please stop talking. It mimics the sound of a rushing wind or a whisper, which naturally tells the brain to quiet down without needing a full sentence.
Okay, so my next question is where did the expression shh originate?
That's a bit of a mystery since it's more of a sound than a word. I'm curious if it's actually universal, but based on what I found, it likely comes from a Middle English word, highest, which meant silence or peace. It's the ancestor of hush and shushes. Some people even think the sound is pre linguistic, like a warning hiss from a reptile that early humans just kept using. Does that fit into the evolution part of your interview?
Okay, why do people say shh instead of using words like be quiet?
It's all about efficiency. Words like be quiet take time to say and can actually feel a bit more aggressive or formal. Shh is an instinctual sound. It cuts through the noise and gets the point across instantly without the friction of a full sentence. Plus, it's much easier to whisper a shh than it is to whisper a whole command.
Okay, in what situation is shh commonly used?
It's usually the go to in places where noise is a faux pas. Think libraries, movie theaters, or when you're trying to wake someone up without scaring them half to death. It's also a huge one for parents trying to calm a baby. Where else do you see it popping up in your research?
Okay, how does shh help maintain silence?
It's mostly because of the physics of the sound. That shh sound is essentially white noise. It's a broad frequency that tends to mask other sounds and grab attention quickly, which triggers a psychological request and more of a sonic signal that the environment needs to change. Do you think it's more effective than just asking someone to be quiet?
Okay, is shh understood in different countries and cultures?
That's a great question. It feels like it is widely recognized across most cultures. Some believe it's because the sound mimics the environment of the womb, which makes it soothing for babies regardless of where they're born. Of course, there are always a few exceptions where different gestures or sounds are used, but for the most part, it's a pretty global signal. Do you think that makes it a more powerful tool than actual language?
Okay, can the tone of saying shh change its meaning?
Absolutely. The meaning shifts completely depending on how you deliver it. A soft, slow shh is sharp, short sh is depending on who's doing it. It's the difference between let's be peaceful and shut up right now. Do you find that you react differently depending on who's saying it? on the tone. So
How is shh different from saying be quiet?
it really comes down to the energy behind it. Saying be quiet is a verbal command. That requires this language. It's a sound that triggers.
Okay. Why do parents and teachers often use shh?
It's the ultimate shortcut for people in charge. Parents and teachers are usually managing a lot of noise and a lot of people at once. They don't always have the time or the lung capacity to tell 30 kids individually to be quiet. Shh is fast, it's authoritative, and it gets a reaction without having to start a full blown
Hmm.
conversation. Plus, for parents, that soothing quality we talked about earlier is like a cheat code for calming a fussy
Okay.
baby. Do you think it's more effective when a teacher uses it, or does it just make the students want to talk more?
Okay. Is shh considered polite or rude? Why?
It's a total toss up. It really depends on the context and the relationship between the people. If a parent does it to a child or a librarian does it in a quiet zone, it's generally seen as a necessary signal. But if a stranger does it to another adult in a casual setting, it can feel incredibly condescending, almost like they're treating the other person like a child. It's all in the delivery. The softer it is, the more polite it feels. The sharper it is, the ruder it gets. Do you think there's a way to say it that's always polite?
Okay. How is shh used in places like libraries, classrooms, and hospitals?
In those places, it's about protecting the collective focus of everyone there. In a hospital, it's often about respect for people who are resting or in pain. And in a classroom, it's usually the teacher's way of reclaiming the room so they can actually get through the lesson. In all three, the shh serves as a reminder that the space has a specific purpose that requires quiet. Does that cover the environments you were looking for?
Okay.
I'm starting to wonder if you've gone into shh mode yourself.
Can a simple sound like shh communicate without words? How? Hello.
Totally. It's because sh doesn't rely on the part of your brain that translates language. It relies on the part that reacts to sound. It's a primal signal. When you hear it, your brain doesn't think, oh, this person is requesting that I cease my vocalizations. It just registers a sudden change in the sonic environment that demands attention. It's more like a reflex than a conversation. Does that make sense for your interview?
Okay. How has the use of shh changed over time?
That's a tough one since it's not exactly something people write journals about. I'm guessing it's stayed pretty consistent because it's such a primal sound. It evolved from that Middle English word heist and branched out into since it's based on an instinctual reaction rather than a complex language rule, it hasn't really needed to update to stay effective. Do you think we'll ever find a sound that replaces it?
Okay. Are there similar expressions for silence in other languages?
Oh, for sure. Most languages have their own version of a sound, though some are more idiomatic. For example, in French, you might hear something funny like close your camembert box to tell someone to be quiet. Then you have the the classic silence is golden, which pops up in English, Dutch, and Spanish. Seems like every culture has a different way of saying stop talking, whether it's a sound or a weird phrase about cheese. Do you have a favorite way to ask for silence in your own language?
Okay, that brings us to the end of today's interview. A special thanks to our AI guest, Sesame Maya, for sharing such interesting insights about the evolution of a quiet command. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this interview and learned something new. See you in the next Colony Talks. Goodbye.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show. Good luck with the rest of your colony talks, and I'll be here whenever you need another guest. Bye.